Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode, we're making scallops in a white pasta sauce. You're absolutely going to love this dish. If you like seafood and you like a good herby pasta sauce, you're really going to enjoy this. So come on, let's cook. Okay, so here are the ingredients we're going to use in our scallops in white pasta sauce. First of all, we have 2 cups of bay scallops. If you can only get sea scallops, take the sea scallops and cut them down into smaller pieces. So that's 2 cups of bay scallops. We're going to use this 32-ounce container of chicken broth. Now, there are all sorts of different kinds of chicken broth, so pick the one that you like most. We also are going to use 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of minced sweet onion, 3 tablespoons of butter, 2 green onions, 2 celery stalks. We're going to use a tablespoon of minced oregano and a tablespoon of minced parsley, and also 4 garlic cloves. Now, I know garlic is a little bit controversial, so you can either use less garlic or more garlic. It's totally up to you. If you don't like garlic at all, you can just leave it out altogether. But what I recommend is try it my way the first time, see what you think, and then adjust the ingredients accordingly. The other thing you're, of course, going to need is your favorite pasta. I like a good angel hair pasta myself. I like the thin angel hair, and it cooks up real fast, and it just tastes delicious with these more delicate white sauces. So let me show you how to put this together. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is prepare our herbs and our vegetables. So I want to start by slicing the celery very small. So I'm slicing up the middle of this celery. There we go, so that's good and bisected. We'll do that with both of these. Oops. Okay, and then what we want to do is mince it. So I'm just going to cut it into these very, very thin slices. I don't want huge pieces of celery in this. It's a pasta sauce. I don't really want it to be all that crunchy. Okay, so there's our celery. All chopped up nice and fine. Next up, we'll prepare our 1/4 cup of minced onion. Here we go, get all that rough paper off of there. And then I'm just going to score the top of the onion. Put real close lines on the top. Turn it this way. Oops, get rid of that paper. And then we're just doing a crosshatch on it. And this creates these really tiny little squares of onion. It minces them, essentially. And again, you don't want big chunks of onion in this. The onion is really a spice. And now we just cut down the front, right down the face of the onion. And it's creating these little minced pieces of onion until I have a 1/4 cup. Okay, so there we go. There's our 1/4 cup of minced onion. And here's our green onion. Now all of these vegetables have been rinsed ahead of time, and I'm just cutting the rooty end off. And again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm cutting it into really thin circles of green onion. And the green onion has a slightly different taste than the sweet onion, and I really like it. I think they really complement each other, especially in combination with the celery. It also adds some nice color to this dish. And all of these vegetables, they're crunchy right now, but they are going to be sautéed. So our point is not to make a scallop soup, a crunchy scallop soup. We're making a true white pasta sauce. There we go. And make sure to remove any of the leaves, the shoots of green onion. The ones that look wilted or brown, throw those out. Make sure to pick those off. Only use what's green and fresh. And if you can't get green onion in your area right now, then just add another 1/4 cup of white onion. That's totally fine. And here's our parsley and our oregano. Now, I'm only adding about a tablespoon of both. If you want to add more, go ahead. I just find that the herbs can kind of take over this dish if you add too much, especially the oregano. I think you can add as much parsley as you want, but the oregano can be very overpowering. So I would be a little bit sparing on it the first time. Try it with just the tablespoon, and then if you decide you want more oregano, add some more next time. And don't add the oregano stems, and if the parsley's really stemmy too, take the leaves off of the parsley stems. You don't want a lot of sticks in your white pasta sauce. And with oregano, the leaves are coming out on both sides, and you just peel it down this way to get the leaves off of there. And then I'm just picking the lower leaves off. Okay, that should be enough oregano. And now I'm going to mince this up too. So I want this in really tiny pieces. I don't want a lot of big leaves floating around in the white sauce. Okay, I'm just going to add that in here. And now I'm going to crush the garlic right into this. And if you don't like garlic, again, don't add it. If you kind of like garlic, add 1 or 2. And if you like garlic the way I do, add 4. And if you're really nuts about garlic and you want to turn this into a real garlic white sauce, then you're more than welcome to add more. Now I'm using this crusher that forces the flesh of the garlic through these little holes and removes the pulp. So you can see the garlic all crushed up. If you don't have one of these, then just mince the garlic very fine with a knife. Oops, didn't mean to move that. The thing I like about these crushers is they really do release a lot of the oil, a lot of the garlic essence. Wow. You almost want to sit and eat a bowl of this as a salad. I'm not saying anyone would want to be around you the next day, but it does smell delicious. Okay, so that's really our prep work for this dish. Now I'm going to meet you over at the stove where we're going to start the sautéing process. Okay, now this dish cooks really fast. That's why we prepared all the ingredients ahead of time. I also have the pasta water already starting to boil. It's going to happen that fast. So the first thing we want to do is preheat our pan to just under medium heat. Add our 3 tablespoons of butter and melt those down. Also add our 2 tablespoons of olive oil. One, 2. Give that a nice little stir. Don't want that to sizzle for too long. And then what I'm going to do is just add in our vegetable mix. And what we're doing with the vegetables is we're sautéing them. I don't want to brown them or burn them. And on the other hand, I don't want them really crunchy either. So we're going to give them a good sauté. I'm also adding my teaspoon of salt. And let's just keep this moving. And when we see that the white onions or the celery starting to turn clear, when they start to turn translucent, we'll know that it's time for us to add the broth and the scallops. And the reason I don't add the scallops at this point is they're kind of small and they cook fast. And if I add them now, they might just shrink to practically nothing by the time they're in the broth when we get that heated up. So I just like to do this first. It already smells delicious. So this is surprisingly a vegetable-rich dish, especially for a white sauce. But this is the way I like it. I just love it with a lot of intense flavors. Wow, that smells delicious. I can smell the herbs and the garlic and the onions. Oh, I can even get the aroma of the celery. Now again, the point is not to brown this. I'm just trying to saute these vegetables. Watch those onions. They start to turn translucent. You know, they start to turn a little bit more clear. You know that it's ready for the broth. Okay, I see my onions are turning clear. So now what I'm going to do is pour in the broth. Now, you don't have to use the whole 32 ounces if you don't want to. People have, you know, different tastes when it comes to this. But I find with the amount of vegetables that we have, 32 ounces is about right. So now what I want to do is turn the heat up to 8. That's, 2 clicks under high. It's so funny because everybody's stove is a little bit different. And I just want to bring this to an extremely slow simmer. I don't want to get it super boiling, but just a simmer. Just when it starts to have little bubbles breaking the top, that's when I'm going to add the scallops. Okay, so here we go. I'm starting to see things rolling. I don't want it to turn into a full rolling boil, so I'm adding our scallops. There's our 2 cups of scallops. And now I'm going to keep it at this simmer for 5 minutes, and then it'll be ready. So again, the point is to cook the scallops, but I don't want them to turn miniature, too much smaller than they already are. And I am dropping the heat back down to just under a quarter and just letting it warm. I don't want it to boil. So it did lose that simmer look because the scallops are a little bit cooler, but they are cooking. This is very, very hot, a very, very hot white sauce. And 5 minutes later, here we are. This white sauce is done. You can see all the vegetables. You can see the scallops are white. They're cooked all the way through. So this is ready to go on some pasta. Now at this point, take it off the heat so it doesn't continue to cook. Otherwise, your scallops will shrink down to nothing. So congratulations, look at what you just did. You just made scallops in a white pasta sauce. This is delicious stuff. I think you're really going to like it. You can add a little bit more salt if you need to. You can add some delicious grated cheese to the top of it. I mean, really do it up the way that you like it. Now, if you do enjoy this dish, you can visit my website, stepbystepchef.com, and download the written recipe for this. You can also print other recipes and see other videos for dozens of other delicious dishes. My name's Larry Richardson. I'm your step-by-step chef. I'll see you in the next episode.